Is a new stimulus payment coming? March 2026 IRS Direct Deposit Fact Check. Stop everything for a moment. This isn't a rumor and it's not clickbait. If you've been waiting for a potential March 2026 stimulus payment, what I'm about to reveal could directly affect your bank account. And it's information that most Americans haven't seen yet. The IRS has quietly updated its systems, and there are critical changes to how direct deposits are being processed. Millions of people are asking, will I get this payment? When will it hit? Here's the reality. The IRS is rolling out a new verification check for direct deposits, and it's catching more errors than ever before. Even small discrepancies, like a recently changed bank account, a mismatch in your tax filing info, or outdated personal details, can delay or even block your payment. People who thought they were guaranteed a deposit could suddenly find themselves waiting weeks longer than expected. In this video, I'm breaking down the facts you need to know right now: who is eligible, what the IRS is actually checking, and the exact steps you can take to make sure your payment arrives on time. This isn't just about staying informed, it's about protecting your money and avoiding unnecessary delays. So before you scroll past, hit that like button to show you're staying ahead of the updates, and make sure to watch closely because the details I'm about to share could mean the difference between getting your payment on time or waiting unnecessarily. If you've been paying attention to recent IRS updates, you may have noticed a lot of chatter about a possible March 2026 stimulus payment. Some people are claiming it's happening, others are saying it's not, and millions of Americans are left wondering what's real and what's misinformation. The truth is, there is an important fact everyone needs to understand about this direct deposit process, and it could determine whether your payment shows up on time or gets delayed. The IRS has quietly implemented a new verification system for stimulus and other direct deposits. This system is designed to catch errors and prevent fraud, but it also means that any small discrepancy in your account could delay your payment. Even something as simple as a recently updated bank account, a mismatch in your tax return information, or outdated personal details could be enough to trigger a hold. Millions of Americans who thought their deposits were guaranteed are now at risk of waiting weeks longer than expected, simply because the system is stricter than ever before. To understand what's happening, it helps to break it down step by step. First, the IRS is cross-checking your direct deposit information against your most recent tax filings and other federal records. That means your bank account number, routing number, and account type must match exactly what's on file. If you've recently changed banks or updated your account, the IRS needs to verify it before sending out any payments. Any mismatch, no matter how small, can automatically delay your deposit. But it's not just banking details that matter. Personal information is equally critical. Your name, social security number, and even your address need to align perfectly with federal records. If your IRS records show Robert A. Smith, but your bank account or stimulus profile says Bob Smith, the system may flag your payment for review. This is not optional. It's automated, and once a payment is flagged, the IRS will hold it until verification is complete, which can take days or even weeks, depending on how quickly you resolve the issue. Let's talk about eligibility, because this is where many people get confused. Not everyone qualifies for a stimulus payment, and the rules are updated frequently. The IRS has been targeting payments toward low to middle-income Americans, senior citizens, veterans, and individuals who have not received a recent stimulus or similar emergency payment. But eligibility is not just about income. It also includes having up-to-date direct deposit information and ensuring that all your federal records align. People who meet the income threshold but have mismatched or outdated information could find themselves waiting. Now, imagine this scenario. You're expecting a $200 stimulus payment in March. You log into your bank account on the expected day and nothing is there. No warning, no email, no notice. You panic, wondering what went wrong. Then you contact the IRS and learn that your account number had changed 6 months ago, or perhaps your address didn't match the IRS records perfectly. Suddenly, what you thought would be a straightforward deposit becomes a frustrating wait, all because of a minor detail. And this is exactly what's happening to many Americans right now. It's easy to see why the IRS is doing this. Their goal is to prevent fraud and ensure payments go to the correct individuals. But for regular Americans counting on this money, it's stressful. That's why it's so important to know the facts and take proactive steps to protect your payment. If you wait until you notice it's missing, you could be weeks behind, whereas a little preparation now can save time, stress, and money. So what can you do? First, verify your IRS records online. Make sure your name, social security number, and address match exactly what's on file. If you've moved recently, make sure that update has been processed. Second, double-check your bank account information. Confirm that the routing number, account number, and account type are accurate. Third, ensure that any life changes, marriage, divorce, or changes in dependents are properly reflected in your IRS records. The system is automated, but it depends entirely on the accuracy of the information you provide. Another critical detail is timing. The IRS processes these payments in phases, which means some regions will see deposits before others. If your state is in the early batch, you could receive your payment quickly. If not, you may need to wait a few extra days. This phased approach is designed to prevent errors and reduce the risk of fraud, but it also means patience is required. However, taking the steps I just mentioned can minimize delays because the system won't need to pause your payment for verification. It's also worth mentioning seniors and veterans specifically. These groups are often targeted for emergency payments, and many rely on direct deposit for essential living expenses. For seniors, a delayed payment could affect rent, utilities, and groceries. Veterans may face similar issues with their combined benefits if the IRS flags a mismatch between their VA and IRS records. Being proactive is essential. Don't assume that because you've received payments in the past, everything will continue smoothly. Even long-standing records can trigger holds if there's any new discrepancy. Some people may wonder why these mismatches happen at all. Often it's because records across different federal agencies are not perfectly synced. The IRS cross-references data from multiple sources, your tax filings, social security records, and other federal benefit accounts. Minor inconsistencies, like a middle initial, a suffix, or a recently changed address, can cause an automated flag. It's not personal, it's just how the system is designed to protect money and prevent fraud. Consider this example. Mr. Thompson in Ohio recently changed banks and forgot to update his IRS direct deposit info. His payment was flagged immediately and held for verification. A small phone call and update fixed the issue, but it took nearly a week before the money was released. This is happening nationwide, and it could happen to anyone who hasn't double-checked their information. The lesson here is simple. Take control of your records now, not later. In addition to checking information, it's important to understand deadlines. The IRS typically processes stimulus payments in March, but if verification is required, it can push your deposit into April or even later. Delays are frustrating, but they are preventable. Ensuring all your records are aligned, your bank information is correct, and any recent life changes are documented can keep your payment on schedule. For Americans who rely on third-party assistance, like accountants or family members managing finances, it's critical that they are aware of these updates. Any oversight could result in your payment being held unnecessarily. Communication and attention to detail are key. Make sure anyone assisting you understands the importance of verifying your information and keeping it current. Finally, keep in mind that the IRS verification system is here to stay. These protocols are not temporary, and future payments will follow the same process. This means that taking proactive steps now isn't just about the March 2026 payment. It's about ensuring all future emergency or stimulus payments are delivered without delay. Understanding the system, checking your information, and acting immediately if something is incorrect are the only ways to stay ahead of potential holds. Millions of Americans are impacted, and awareness is your best defense. By verifying your records, updating your bank details, and ensuring consistency across all federal agencies, you can prevent unnecessary delays. The March 2026 stimulus payment may seem straightforward, but the new verification checks have added layers of complexity that could catch anyone off guard. Taking action now can make the difference between getting your money on time and waiting unnecessarily. This is why it's so critical to stay informed, check your accounts, and act proactively. Missing or delayed payments can create unnecessary stress, especially for seniors, low-income families, and veterans who rely on these funds. Don't wait for the notice that your payment has been held. Get ahead of it now by reviewing all your information carefully. The IRS is sending payments, but they want to be absolutely sure they go to the right people. By understanding the process and verifying your information, you take control and ensure your deposit arrives as expected. It's simple, it's effective, and it can save you from weeks of uncertainty. Now, let's talk about what the IRS doesn't always make obvious. Even if you think everything is correct, minor issues can still cause a delay. For example, if your address has changed recently but only one of your federal accounts was updated, the system can flag your payment for review. This isn't an error, it's the IRS ensuring your payment isn't going to the wrong person. But for many Americans, this extra verification can feel like a frustrating roadblock, especially if you're counting on that money to cover bills or essential expenses. Another point to consider is timing. The IRS processes these payments in batches, and different regions and states may see deposits on different days. That means some people will receive their payments immediately, while others will have to wait a little longer. However, the key difference between a smooth deposit and a delayed one is accuracy. People who proactively verify their accounts, check their information, and update any discrepancies will almost always see their payments arrive on schedule. Those who wait to discover a problem often face days or even weeks of unnecessary delay. Let's be real, this is stressful for millions of Americans. Seniors, veterans, and low-income families rely on stimulus payments and emergency deposits. A delay can affect rent, utilities, groceries, and medical bills. That's why it's essential to understand the verification system and act quickly. Don't assume your previous payments mean your next one will automatically arrive. The rules have changed, the system has changed, and the process is stricter than ever. Here's a practical example. Mrs. Carter in Florida had been receiving direct deposits for years without issue. She recently switched banks and didn't update her IRS account immediately. When her March 2026 payment was processed, the system flagged her account and her payment was held. After contacting the IRS and updating her information, it took several days for her payment to clear. This could have been avoided entirely if she had checked her accounts in advance. The same scenario applies to veterans or anyone receiving combined benefits. Even small discrepancies between IRS records and other federal accounts can trigger a hold. The system doesn't assume intent, it simply enforces verification to prevent errors and fraud. That's why being proactive is so critical. Now, let's talk about action steps. First, verify your IRS account online and ensure that your personal information, name, social security number, and address, matches exactly. Even minor inconsistencies can create a delay. Second, review your bank account details, including account type, routing number, and account number. Make sure the information matches exactly what the IRS has on file. Third, if you've had any life changes, marriage, divorce, or dependents, confirm that these updates are fully documented. For Americans relying on third-party assistance, like accountants, family members, or financial advisors, it's essential to ensure everyone involved is aware of the new verification rules. Any oversight can result in delays, so communication and attention to detail are key. Timing is another critical factor. The IRS is rolling out payments in stages, which means that while some people may see their deposits quickly, others will face a short wait. This staggered approach is designed to minimize errors, but it also means that being proactive with verification can prevent your payment from being stuck in the queue. Seniors should be especially vigilant. Many rely entirely on direct deposits for living expenses. A delay of even a few days can affect everything from rent to groceries to prescriptions. Being aware of potential verification issues and taking immediate steps to ensure accuracy can prevent unnecessary stress and financial hardship. The IRS verification system is designed to protect your payment, not punish you. It's a safeguard that ensures the money goes to the right person. However, it also adds layers of complexity that many Americans aren't aware of. Taking proactive measures is the best way to avoid delays and ensure your payment arrives on time. Even if you've received stimulus payments in the past, don't assume your next one will automatically arrive. New protocols mean that previously flawless accounts can still be flagged. By checking your information, updating any discrepancies, and verifying your bank account and personal records, you put yourself in control of the process and reduce the risk of unnecessary delays. Finally, remember that these steps don't just apply to the March 2026 payment, they apply to all future IRS or emergency payments. The system is here to stay, and staying informed is your best defense. Verify your records, update your bank details, and ensure all life changes are properly documented. Acting now can save you days or weeks of waiting and unnecessary stress. Millions of Americans are affected by this system. Being informed, proactive, and thorough is not optional. It's essential. The March 2026 stimulus payment is coming, but its arrival depends on the accuracy of your information. By taking the right steps today, you can ensure your money reaches your account on time and avoid unnecessary delays that could affect your bills, expenses, and peace of mind.